I'm with Sue Douse, who's the managing partner of Douse Associates. Now, Sue has a long career as an investment consultant and fund manager, and she's a passionate believer in the value of active management and the ability of the best managers to add alpha. So, Sue, how do you think fund manager selection is changing, particularly in the institutional marketplace?
Thanks, Liz. Yes, as I've seen it over the many years, we have now got much more information available, which to some extent has become a bit of a trap because you can data mine and look back at history. But I think certainly we're at a new place where, in fact, that's taken to another level. It's much more about understanding what that data really means in terms of portfolio holdings, portfolio characteristics, and actually really identifying the client, the manager's skill.
So sort of technology is able to give us much more quantitative data that's useful.
More useful, and it's more cleverly looked at today, I would argue. I think the big change in institutional selection is really who the decision makers are to some extent as well, because where one has a much more delegated responsibility, I see this happening a lot here, particularly in the UK, but it's global, where that is delegated to those that are expertly looking constantly and understanding the managers and the characteristics that they're looking for, there is a greater chance of finding skill.
Right.
Where indeed it's given much more back to those that perhaps have less day-to-day involvement with manager selection, etc. Unfortunately, we rely on past history, and there is no doubt, and there was some fantastic evidence, both academically, well, there always has been, but I think now we just know that that has become a data mine of products. And in my belief, and the reason I feel so passionate about active management and the good selection that can come through for institutional, is that where it's an investment proposition, it must be determined by those who are looking at this constantly.
And so presumably some of the topics we've heard during the conference, like Cohen Rosenberg's fiduciary management, you think that's the right way to go, do you?
I definitely believe that having an ear to understanding all the various different risks, the opportunity to look at a range of different asset classes, manager types, the range of different tools to be able to do much better manager selection and manager allocation and asset allocation, so implementation. For so long we had in this industry implementation shortfall, as I call it, which is really the idea might have been there, but the ability to get it into the portfolio, ability to find the right manager in time, really led to some significant shortfall, and people just got lost or left behind. So certainly where the accountability, the tools are available, and more of a delegated, accountable, more dynamic framework is certainly a very good way forward.
Great. And you've been involved in this conference for manager selection for a number of years. I know you've chaired the last 2 days. What do you think how is it of value to you? What do you think about the event?
Yes, no, well, thank you, Liz, for always kindly including me here. I always enjoy the day. I think that the speakers always bring some new refreshing thoughts as well. It's an evolving space, it isn't static. It's constantly challenging. There are many new players. There are new products that we heard, the diversified growth products, for example. So I think it's all very fine just to do one's day job, but I actually do love engaging in this more sort of forward thinking or just getting a chance to hear where people are going.
Yeah, so I think the networking and the speaking to peers is
and you put a great program of good speakers, which enables the debate to be there. I think there was some very good thoughts, some very practical speakers as well. I don't think you always inevitably have some that will push more products or whatever, but I think genuinely we heard from such a great range, and that's encouraging that the industry doesn't all think the same, actually.
Oh, that's good. Well, thank you so much, Sue. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, and look forward to seeing you at the next event. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Liz.